Frankie is stronger than Robin, and if Chopper and Nami fought seriously at this point, I think Nami might be able to take it. The Death of Cobra, Chapter 1085. 15 chapters away from 11 hundo. The death of, how do you pronounce that? The Death of Cobra. Nefertari. It's too much. Cobra. His name's Cobra, Lily, and Vivi. That's it. He's amazed that somebody's sitting in the chair. This chapter, just before I really get into it, there's a lot not only up to interpretation, but we do get kind of a lot of info, and we almost turn that corner on one of the questions that we've been asking this entire time, which is, what is the will of D? But we don't get there 100%. We still, we got more of the same, but getting it from the root, getting it from the person who's actually fearful of it is interesting. But we get Emu the most. Has he ever said anything? I think maybe with the giant hat or something, but maybe with the wanted posters he said something, but now he's talking. And once this gets animated, we're going to be able to hear this man's voice. And this is the voice of like the top dog, like the bad of all bad guys type of thing. The Kaguya, hopefully not, but we'll see. It almost looks like it's heading that way, but we'll see. I'll reserve judgment until it's time. Referring to him or herself as Mu. Talking about dream or void. So the void century is their century, I guess, or just what they decided to take out. But Cobra's like, well, shit, I'm like totally dead. Just the fact that I'm seeing this guy is not something that I'm able to do. We get more confirmation that D is the moniker of our ancient enemy. But something that we didn't know is about Queen Lily's grave blunder, which they call it a blunder, but I think this was Lily coming in super, super clutch for the heroes of this story during that void century, releasing all the poneglyphs, or as Emu or Mu calls them, vexing relics. Kind of detailing some history. Obviously not a lot of people are able to read this because of the cleanup work that these people have been doing, but obviously with Nico Robin, with Three-Eyed Pudding out there, it's not a foolproof strategy. It's not. Some people are going to be able to read this, and some people are going to be able to decipher what is the truth. And that's what Emu does not want. He does not want the truth to be known. So it starts off with the 5 elders pulling out pistols. Of course, the man with the sword is pulling out his sword. He is the only one not to pull out a pistol. And at this point, I'm a little confused why they're doing that. I know that they're going to kill him. And even Cobra's like, oh yeah, I'm like so dead. But he's a man about it. Cobra dies an absolute man. There's no way you can't respect Cobra for who he is. He's been on death's door multiple times, and every time he's been on death's door, he refuses to back down. He refuses to give up his values and morals to help the enemy in any way, shape, or form. He just wants answers. And he's like, well, I'm already at this position. Let's kind of see what I can figure out. In that letter, Emu's like, no, let's actually talk about the letter. What did she refer to herself as? Queen Nefertari D. Lily. Now, it's interesting. Are the other 20 Ds? I don't think so. But for whatever reason, Lily might be the head. She might be the Mother Teresa of the will of D. She might be the person that passed this down, that everybody who is even close to a descendant, she's the fucking Genghis Khan of One Piece, passing on the will of D. Now, this infuriates Emu. And it's tough to tell if this is him attacking Cobra or if this is one of the shadows, but I believe this is Emu's power because none of the other 5 elders have even transformed at this point. So it's kind of tough to tell, but I'm pretty sure this is Emu's power. An arrow. Now this is kind of like the first thing that seems pretty big. We're starting to get a look at what his power is. Now this reminds me of a couple things. Shikamaru's shadow ability. The arrow from Smash Bros. Brawl when they get turned into trophies and the arrow goes through them. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a hint at the power, but I don't know if it's the whole thing or even his main power. Like I said, this being the head of the head guys, who's to know if this just isn't a piece of the power? What else is interesting is he doesn't immediately go for the kill. Which it seems like he definitely could have. Lands a clean hit on Cobra, which could be a deathly hit, but I don't think he was done talking to him. And he still might not be done talking to him, but we'll see. I hope that this isn't done in the throne room, but we'll see. Sabo comes in throws an attack out at all the 5 elders. They look to be getting hit by it slightly. They look to be kind of transforming or moving into a shadow form. And then Emu's surprised that he's here. And then we see all of them in shadow form. Now, another interesting piece, if you look at this panel, the first one that they show, it looks like there's only 4 of the elders, and the guy up top at the throne has got to be Emu, right? I don't actually think so, but it's confusing. I think that might be one whose like job is to guard, like they're the shield for Emu, which is why they're showing the 5 and not Emu, because them showing Emu like that immediately, I don't think that they would do that. They show them again as the 5, but none of them looks too much like the one guarding, and then there's the eyes of Emu, and it's kind of tough to tell exactly what's going on here. But of course, we're looking into it. They've been doing these shadowy figures for obviously Emu and some other characters that they don't want to reveal yet, so it's kind of tough to tell. Another piece is they kind of look like Zoans. We got a bull kind of type looking guy. We have a bird. I believe this samurai is the one with like the tassels, and the tassel reminds me of Fishman, so possible Fishman in that old man. I'm not sure. That could be part of his animal. If it is an animal, one of the other guys has some like dog or pig looking ears. Seems very Zoan-esque, but at the same time it seems very shadowy too, and with the only move that we see them throw out, or 2 moves being shadow based, it's tough to tell. But I think Oda obviously did this on purpose because Jay Garcia is about to get into it, and I think that's going to give us way more answers for this. But it's official. Saturn can fight. Saturn's going to get down at Egghead, and shit is about to... We're going to see how strong they truly are. We see a Sabo who stands over Cobra. They get a picture of it. Very clutch picture by the government. Very clutch picture. So they can blame it all on him. But it is great. Cobra's like, I'm dead. Leave me. But I need you to tell Luffy, and I need you to tell Vivi, we share the moniker D. And he's like, well, what exactly does that mean? Like, what exactly does that mean? And we get a beautiful flashback with Sabo and Luffy and Ace when they were kids. He's like, why do you guys have a D? They're like, you can just put it in your name. Saw Debo. He's like, why would you put it there? Just kind of a cute thing in this very intense situation that I loved. I love that flashback. And then once again, we see this arrow on the hunt. And this time it destroys Sabo and Cobra. Now we have to assume a couple things with Sabo already. One, Sabo probably has phenomenal observation haki, phenomenal armament haki, and is just, what we've seen is phenomenal armament haki. And still, he gets destroyed by this arrow. This arrow looked to do some real damage to Sabo internally. And then King Cobra kind of stays there, the poneglyphs, and then we see him, what looks like almost sing a song. Fly the flag that heralds the world's eventual dawn. Fly the flag. We even get some of the text blocked off by a roar from one of the 5 elders, which I think is awesome. I believe that's the man with the big mustache, because that looks to be his like stash. He's like, I'm counting on you. And Cobra is able to stand up after taking some crazy hits. That man has been bullied. That man has been bashed. Every time we see him, Crocodile had his way with him too. And he still is just like, you need to go. Like, we're not making it out of this room together. You need to go. So he kind of tries to escape. We see the King's meeting, and then everyone's a little confused that why isn't Cobra here? Why isn't Wapol here? Like, what's going on there? We see that Vivi, because CP0 and the government, they leave no stone unturned. They captured her immediately, and they're like, well, we can't really let you leave, because if you find out about your dad or what we did to your dad here, you're going to be snitching. You're going to be telling people, and we can't really have that. They're probably going to kill her, imprison her, something is the plan here. She's like, well, shit, like, I got to get out of here now. Talking about, like, she's doing the math, and the CP0 is saying a little too much about them attacking the Celestials and exactly what that means. And then another huge thing happens. A lot of huge things, like I said. Fujitora. Meanwhile, at the home of the gods, Fujitora's actions helped the Revolutionary Army free the slaves. Now, it's kind of tough to what that exactly means, but it looks like he's facing off against Greenbill. Now, I think Greenbill is definitely someone who... Bill, by the way, he's not Bull. Greenbill is somebody who doesn't really care too much about other people, but Fuji, he's very much about caring for other people. And I think that it was kind of probably a disagreement on, we need to capture them and stop them and beat them. And he's like, no, we need to protect the people. And he decided that the people's protection is more than that. But saying that he went at it with Green Bull, awesome. I would love to see that. Also saves the admirals another L, another possible L of being below Yonko, which they gotta be. But it is interesting to see them having faced off. What that looked like, I'm not entirely sure. Couldn't have been too crazy, and then they were stopped. And then the final panel, after we see Wapol, which I love two things here. After we see after we see Wapol peeking in the throne room and seeing what's going on there with Cobra, he's like, holy shit, I know too much. I know their dirtiest laundry. I know it. He's trying to escape. He's running through. He's eating everything. And then he busts in the room with Vivi, and then Vivi uses this as her opportunity to use the man who was just awful to her as a child, awful to her in Drum Island, uses her to escape. And it almost seems like Wapol's cool with it because he is too concerned for his own life at the moment. But two things that I love here. I love that Wapol's back. I love that Wapol's back. I know that I love that he just knows. I'm like, he just knows like something very, very important. And Vivi being back in the story, being as important as she's going to be in the future is great. Because she's a Straw Hat that we kind of had some sour feelings leaving behind. We knew it was the right thing, but it was kind of sour at the time. But now as the whole world's beginning to crumble, she's going to become not only a Straw Hat again, but a pillar of what the future of the world is going to look like. And I think Vivi is just an amazing character that if you don't like Vivi, you don't like One Piece. Like, she's just an amazing character. I'm excited to see her back. The MVP, which we should not forget about because we're combining two things, right? We saw the aftermath, and now that we've gotten just about all of the backstory, we know that Big News Morgan scoops these two up. The MVP, I don't know how he did it, but he scoops these two up. Sabo's obviously made it back. I didn't know he was this injured. And what the government will do to somebody who even knows a little bit of that information, seeing somebody on the throne, destroying an entire country of Lelouch, and just stuff is going down right now. And I think that Emu is a little afraid of somebody like Luffy with the last name, or with the middle name D, with that moniker in his name. And he's like, Garcia, I need your Shadow Beast ass to get out there and show these kids what's up. I'm excited. It's going to be good. No break. Let me know what you thought of this fantastic chapter. There was just so much going on here. We finally kind of turned that corner on a lot of what was happening in this backstory in Mary Joie. I don't know if we're completely done here, but if we are, I'm still somewhat satisfied, but I would like a little bit more of Cobra just to see him truly die like a man. But I appreciate you guys. Like, sub, and have a great day. Peace out. Bye.